Bezat Hashem, Baruchim Abayim, thank you for coming again, joining us over here. If you want to join us anytime at David Chai, Bet Knesset, Shacharit is 7:45, Korbanot, 8 o'clock Chodu. And right after that, there's Mitzvoth Doraita, there's Hebrew in English, whatever language you speak, sometimes Ruski, whatever you want. It's 4601 Thomas Street, right off Sheridan, Bezat Hashem. Join us anytime you want. Okay, B'Shat Omeslacha, today is the 28th of Tevet, which is Tuesday, the third day of the week of Parashat Shabbat, Shabbat Bo. Parashat Bo. Today, the mitzvot that are shayachot to this day, mitzvah number 201 and 202. Ervat kalatecha lo tigale. There is a Yisur Deoraita, a very, actually it's mentioned in the Navi, that one of the cause of the destruction was that the father and his son were together, sometimes using the son's wife for their physical pleasures. As we already said, that the whole concept of the Kadosh Baruch Hu, the last week and today, this week, we're discussing in the Oraita Mitzvot of illicit relations, to stay away from illicit relations, as the purpose and the corruption is that I know the most world is brainwashed today, that the Chas v'Shalom, that's what the man thinks about all day. It's not true at all. Far from the truth, the cloud. I know that the society is trying to influence men to be busy with this concept of arayot, going to bed all day, thinking about intercourse. Chas v'Shalom, nothing will be far from the truth. How do we know that? How do I know that to be true? Very simple. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu commands something to do, people don't understand, what is more stricter in Hashem's eyes? A command of a king to prevent you to do something, or a king commanding you to do something? Obviously, when the king commands you to do something, it's more precious to him. It's more prevalent to him and more beloved by him. And so it happens to be where there is a big misconception. People think that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is upset when he tells us not to do something and we break it, more than when he tells us to do something and we don't do it. In reality, we'll be very much surprised. The Gemara over there tells us, what is the punishment for not putting on tefillin? You ready? If you don't put on tefillin, Gemara Rosh Hashanah over there, I believe Yud Aleph or something, says that if you go ahead and here's the Avirah, a person went ahead and he slept with his daughter-in-law, his son's daughter. Here's the Avirah 201, right? What's the punishment here? So, regular intercourse with another married wife, person gets strangulation. The worst punishment in the Beit Din is skila, is stoning. So this guy went ahead and did an avirah with his daughter-in-law from his son's side, right? And he did the avirah with her, that's the Yisur today we're discussing. His punishment is stoning. Okay? Let's say he went ahead and he raped, right? I don't know, all his children's. He did the biggest averot in the world. He went with Eshet Ish, and the Torah enumerates the punishments, right? There's a limit to the punishment. Sof kol sof, there is a limit to the punishment. There is a limit. 1,000,000 years in Gehenam. It's 1,000,000 years in Gehenam. Good. The Gemara says something very strange. If a person says, I'm not putting on tefillin, wait a minute, what is tefillin? It's Hashem's commandment, go put on tefillin. If a person, Gemara says, if he doesn't want to put on tefillin, b'mezid, he says, I'm not going to put on tefillin, not because he didn't know. I'm not putting. The Gemara says, he lived 120 years, and he did all other avirot, besides not putting on tefillin. So they decreed for the guy $2 million years in Gehenom. It's 2 million years in Gehenom. Says Gemara, after 2 million years in Gehenom, what usually happens? The Rasha, who did other avirot, besides not putting on tefillin, there are some Rashaim who are not putting on tefillin because they don't know that they're supposed to put on tefillin. Right? So he doesn't put on tefillin. But somebody who doesn't want to put on tefillin, the dafka, it says Gemara, 2 million years he goes through Gehenam for cleansing. What's the purpose of Gehenam? Cleansing. His neshama is being purified. After 2 million years, his neshama is destroyed. Evaporates. Not cleanse, go to Gan Eden now, enjoy your reward. If somebody did not put on tefillin on purpose, so he completes to get his neshama gets disintegrated after they cleanse him for all the avirot that he went through in his life. You know what's going on here? It's a Gemara Masechet Rosh Hashanah. So we could understand, we could comprehend a little bit what is not fulfilling the king's command. If the king has decrees, don't do. Okay, somebody breaks it. No, don't do. He did it. But if a king approaches you and tells you, Habibi, do this, and you don't do it, we could understand. Maybe today, because trying to get the brainwashing of the world, people think, haram, breaking Shabbat is worse. No, not fulfilling the commandment of the king is the worst. Why there are only 248 commandments? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not want to impose on us. What is a commandment? Commandment, you go out of your way here, come over here in Shacharit, come over here, and right after Shacharit I have to go to work, Habib, I have to make money and for my family. No, come and sit in Torah. That's Mitzvoth Doraita. Hashem commanded you to do that. Now, so there, that's why the Torah is only 248. How many don't do's? 365. Don't do is very easy. You know why it's easy? Because it's the rule. Shev v'al ta'aseh adif. So what it's not doing, don't do nothing. Go to sleep. The guy wants to do Avera with Eshet Ish, Chas v'shalom. Habibi, fall asleep, you didn't do any Avera. You didn't do any Avera. Right? But, what can you say for not putting on tefillin? Okay, cut off his hands. Somebody, Chas v'shalom. Maybe he will get punished for that. But at least he won't have that same Avera. He doesn't have a hand to put on tefillin. What do you want from him? But he's still going to have mitzvah of tefillin ala rosh. Still has a chiyuv. Somebody else has to help him, right? So there is, but it's only that's HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mercy. So anyway, let's go back to the inyan over here. שלא לבוא על הבן שתהיה אשתו מן האירוסין וכל שכן מן הנישואין. So if a boy says to the woman, הרי את מקודשת לי, they're not married yet, he gave her a kiddushin. In olden days, that's how they do it. It will be 12 months before they'll give the boy time to prepare for a wedding. I am totally against this today. Today I hold, I believe, every wedding should be within a week. Very simple question, very simple answer. Baruch Hashem, most people have enough money, and after 3 months, the money doesn't grow. I don't understand what's the difference. I'm going to wait 3-4 months. What's the purpose? No, we have to find an apartment. Do me a favor. You have the money, get an apartment. If most people today have wine on the table, you understand the concept of 12 months period. They didn't have wine. You understand why we have so many halachot on making kiddush on bread? Why we have so many halachot making Abdallah on beer? Because truly there was no wine. People were poor. This generation, I think the wedding should be in 2-3 days. That's how many avirot we could do. Because today, Baruch Hashem, you have WhatsApp, you have phone calls. Yeah, you could be with a girl. You have a bigger desire for her. You have a bigger desire for her. Why not? So what's this mitzvah? No, we don't want. This is amazing. I found they don't listen to my shooting. Anyway, so I found a boy 7 years ago. I told my wife, this is the boy for my daughter. Okay. So my daughter is turning 17 in June. Okay, I want to marry her off. All right. So I'm calling the family out. My best friend. I'm calling. No return calls. Okay. I called the Khatan yesterday. I said, what's going on? Your daughter is too young. If you're giving up your daughter as too young for marriage, something is wrong with the daughter. That's the answer. I said, Khalas, you guys are crazy. It became normal to get married late. It became normal. A girl, a Kohen Gadol cannot marry a girl after 12 years old. You know that? Kohen Gadol cannot touch a girl after 12. Why? Because that's the misconception. Today, we're brainwashed that man thinks about intercourse the whole day. It's not true at all. It's not true. So far from truth. If a man never sees a girl, he'll never spill in his life. You know that? He has zero desire. The Gemara says, Yesh ever ba'adam, there is one organ in the person, masbiyo, if you have intercourse constantly, you will never be satisfied. Marivo, if you don't have intercourse, if you don't even look at the girl, saveh, you will never know what a girl is. Take a boy, drop him in an island, and come back after 100 years, he will be alive still, most probably because he didn't have intercourse, and he had never had spilled. He has no desire for it. That's why Torah commands us to do it. That's why otherwise, what's the purpose? Hashem commands us something that's hard for you. Okay? Now, what about the other way around? Why can't a Kohen Gadol marry a 12-year-old, above 12-year-old? Because at the moment that a girl turns 12, her mind is going psycho. She's already old. She doesn't understand what's happening to her. She has a desire. She has an automatic desire that's imbued in her to have intercourse. Constantly. This is what bothers her. So now, after 12 years old, you're waiting haram for this girl to get married? Till 20? Till 21? What are you doing? Rabbi Miller said, by 20, what she could have already 3-4 kills. 3-4 kids. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Syrians, Baruch Hashem in Flatbush, 16 years old, marrying off. In the middle of high school, they don't care. What are you in high school for? 16 years old, let's go. In the Frum community especially, what are you waiting for? Especially today with all the nisyonot, with all the sicknesses outside. Marrying them off his own. However, so, again, when we started for 12 months engagement. That's how it was in the olden days. So a son married, engaged the girl, and this father, he was a chatzuf because he was exposed to girls, and now he went ahead and did Avirah with her. Mitzvoth 1 prohibits this. Umina adome, so the Torah says, Sheneimar, Ervat kalatecha lo tigale. Be very careful. She is your daughter-in-law. And why is the Torah specifically telling us here that? Because it's very prominent that the father-in-law and the Kilin and the Kala, they're always together, right? She comes home, she prepares food with his wife, right? So there is a constant interaction. So the Torah specifically tells us to be very, very careful. It doesn't matter. Even if his son, who was a mamzer, meaning this high, he went with somebody's wife by mistake. He didn't do it on purpose. I don't know. He got drunk. He went into the wrong bed, or the wife of somebody else went into the wrong bed. They were both drunk. I don't know. She has now mamzer, right? So you would think. There's gnai. There's not so much connection between them. No. Even this mamzer engaged the girl. Chalas, the father-in-law will be chayav. The father will be chayav. V'nohu mikol makom. It's his son. Aval ben shimcha menochrit en ze nikra beno leshum davar. However, in the olden days, there was also a big nisayon of having maidens, right? The maid servants, ladies. And a man did Avirah with her. So now she has a son. This son says, engage the girl, or marry the girl. Here, and the father went ahead and did Avirah with this son's. The halacha is not, it's not doraita. That's not the same Avirah. Because the boy is not really his son. Because she was a maid servant. Shoresh Visur, the Harayot Katavnu. So again, the whole concept also, what's the purpose here? Whoa. Why did he do the Avirah with his daughter-in-law? Because the purpose of intercourse is to have children. So now, if he's going to do the child, if he's going to have a child from his daughter-in-law, what is going to be? What is going to be? Everybody going to say, whose child is this? This is my daughter-in-law's child from me. So what's going to be? Again, same concept, same problem that we mentioned before. If a man has an intercourse with her and she gets pregnant, there's most probably there's going to be a lot of discussion about abortion, not to have shame, and the whole zach over there. And unfortunately, there are some achronim already that found the heterim to even do abortion in that case, which is not halacha. We don't follow them because abortion is completely illegal always. In a case if a father rapes his daughter, chas v'shalom, no abortion is allowed. Not allowed. Whatever the Hashem did it, or whatever the purpose, what's going to be with this child's life, that's Hashem problems. So again, we already discussed all the Isur, and we already mentioned that over here, somebody does break this Avirah, he is going to be Beskilavim and Edim, but if there is no witnesses who warned him to stop, and he, right, just like that, it was done secretly, now both of them get correct. The father-in-law and the daughter-in-law will get correct by doing Avirah. However, if it was done by mistake, maybe chatat kavua, he should bring a certain special sacrifice in the Beit HaMikdash to atone for this mistake. V'im shachav et kalat beno or ben beno ad sov ha'olam or kalat bito mechin oto makat marot. Now, however, so what happened was im kalat beno or ben beno. So what is kalat beno over here? So it says like this. First rule is the Chachamim made the gzera that, let's say my grandson, my son's son, what? My son's son had a girl that he engaged, or his wife. Then, no, not his wife, kala, right? Which it means after the kiddushin. He's not married yet. So over there, one second.
Engagement.
No. Thank you very much. Okay. So מדיני מצווה, מה שאסור זיכרונו לברכה, לגדול גדר זה כלת בנו. Oh, what happened? Oh, sorry. Kalad Bno means that his son's engaged to a girl. So that's the Kalad Bno. Meaning, that's a grandson's child, wife. Grandson's wife, Kalad Bito, Kalad Ha'olam, V'asuru gam ken Kalad Bito bilvad. No, if there was no Nisuin, V'atam kien ma she'amru למעלה לפי שהאיסור בא בכתוב בכללתו, גזרו הם בכלל הקלות הבאות מחמת הבן. גזרו בכלות ביתו, ולבד ודאי לנו בכך, ואילו נקרא שניות. So there is no punishment of death because they're not married yet. There is no punishment of death because any woman that's married, what's the difference if your grandson, if she's married to him, it's already Eshet Ish. Over there will be punishment of death anyway. But over here, what happens is that there is no Eshet Ish yet. So how did they become? So how did he become Kala? No, one second. So what happened here is. כרת בשוגג כרת בנו או בן עד סוף העולם או כלת ביתו מקין אותו מכת מרדות. I don't understand this because really if any man sleeps with an engaged girl after Kiddushin before Nisuin, before marriage, he gets punished by death. The punishment is death. What he's saying over here, somehow your son has a son or your son has a grandson who has Kala. What does Kala mean? Kala means an engaged. So what's the difference then? I'm a little bit confused. חבר מחילה ואסרו גם כן כלת ביתו בלבד. נגדר זה כלת בנו וכן כלת בן בנו עד סוף העולם. לברכה. ואסרו גם כן כלת ביתו בלבד והטעם כן מה שאמרו שהם אמרו שהאיסור בא בכתוב בכלתו גזרו הם בכל הקלות הבאות מחמת הבן. גזרו בכלות ביתו בלבד ודאי לא בכך ואילו נקרות שניות. No different, yeah. By engagement there's actually we do stop. What?
You pay the.
No. By engagement is worse. It's skila. It's stoning. If let's say a man sleeps with any girl that's engaged, which after Kiddushin, meaning not engagement today. In all the days, that's how they do. They would say Hare ad mikudeshetli and give her a tabat, right? And give her a ring. And then 12 months waiting for the wedding. So any woman that commits a crime that time, she doesn't get a regular woman that's married. She does a sin, she gets strangulation. But over there, if she is what's his name? Between right? Between the Kiddushin and marriage, and she does the Avera, there's stoning. It's worse. So I don't understand what the grandson, what Kalato means then. Because if there's no engagement, if there is an engagement, so then they both get stoned. It's a worse punishment. With any man. So I don't know. I have to look into, okay. Hopefully tomorrow I'll give you an answer on that. Mitzvah number 202. Ervat eshet achicha lo tigalef. Eshet achicha. Oh, so today we're talking about a man, chas v'shalom, should stay away from being with his brother's wife. Okay? Now, why is that mitzvah important? Because we have a mitzvah of yibum. There is a mitzvah of being with your brother's wife. Only in the case where he dies without children. So here, there is a mitzvah because of that. You might think, okay, he divorced her without children. Let me marry her. Maybe that's going to allow you. Hashem says no. Mitzvah number 2, shelo lavo al eshet achiv, that a man is prohibited to be with his brother's wife. Shenimar ervat eshet achicha lo tigale. The Torah tells us you're prohibited to be with your brother's wife. V'achar ve'echad achav me'aviv levad o me'imo levad. Doesn't matter if his brother is from his mother's side or from his father's side. Uben min hanisuin, ben min zanut. Whether it was a rape that his father raped somebody, the brother. Doesn't matter how the brother came to life. Ishto ervat alav. As long as he has that name brother, we don't care how. Mamzer, lo mamzer. Doesn't matter what. See, his wife will be prohibited to you. She'achiv nikra mikol makom, because it's his brother. It's called his brother. Mikivan she'arafsa nikret eshet ach ve'asura. From the moment that he engages her, she's already a wife of his brother. Because again, achar she'nesayim, for sure after he married her. Uben b'chayei achiv ben achar moto he asura alav mishum eshet ach. Doesn't matter after he's dead or he's alive. So now let's see what does that mean. Chutz me'eshet ach shelo hiniach ben, except for where there was no son. That's a mitzvah bibum. Shatorah tzivta alazu bepirush sheyisaena ha'ach, where the Torah commanded him to go marry this sister. Sorry, this sister-in-law. Vezod hi mitzvah yibum kamo shenifresh be'ezrat Hashem. As we'll learn later on, mitzvah bud. However, the prohibition of being with the, again, same thing. Imagine yourself the marriage. The brother marries his dad's brother's wife who had children already. So now, who is this? They're brothers. What do you mean they're brothers? Half brothers. This is a half brother from my brother. This is a son from my brother, and this is a son from me. What kind of relationship is this over here? So for sure nobody's going to want to have babies with this girl if she has already children. So for sure that's the issur over here because of that kind of relationship. Because says don't marry her early, you're prohibited to touch her. And that, like we already said before, that's one of the reasons. There are many reasons HaKadosh Baruch Hu prohibited all those illicit relationships, but that's one of the reasons. One of the things is, as we always learn in the Torah, I ask my student, anybody I learned with, what's the purpose of learning? There's only one purpose of learning Torah. One. What is it? To end result of Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. To come to the element of loving your friend as yourself. And what could be more than that? This week we're learning what could be more than to show you that Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Would you like to be a child of such a family? No. You would not want to be a child of such a family where there is a mother gives birth from her child. And now they call it, what are they going to call this guy? Would you want to be that way? No. So why would you create somebody like that? The entire learning the Torah is all about Ahavat Israel. And that's what we have to come out from every time we learn Torah. What's the result? What's the end result? Amen. Thank you for joining. Hopefully if you're here still tomorrow, we'll continue. And I hope we're going to answer on mitzvah number 201. What does that mean exactly? Kala. Why over there that will be a punishment? That if he took a kala, it says over here, from his grandson or great-great-grandson, and he did the avera with her, then the rabbis beat him up, which is according to Torah, it's still asur. There should be that punishment. I'll delve into it till tomorrow. Whoever needs to have the best enjoyment if you're on vacation. If you need to make money, make a lot of money without any headaches. Kol tov.